Thank you for joining us for the 2026 Glendale Martin Luther King Jr. Community Gathering and Breakfast. It is truly inspiring to see such a diverse and committed group of community members, partners, faith leaders, healthcare providers, nonprofit organizations, and residents gathered together this morning in the spirit of unity and service. Is this mic okay? It's sort of cutting out. And what a wonderful way to start the new year together. Today is a moment of reflection and connection to the values that Dr. King stood for and that continue to guide our community. At this time, I'd like everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Each year, this gathering reminds us all that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy is not confined to history books, but it lives on through action, compassion, and community partnerships like the ones represented here in the room today. Dr. King challenged us to build bridges across differences, to serve one another, and to work collectively toward justice and opportunity for all. Glendale is proud to be a city where those values are not just discussed, but practiced. This event itself is a powerful example of what can be accomplished when organizations come together with a shared purpose. And I would like to take just a moment to recognize and thank the organizations whose generosity and leadership made today's event possible. First and foremost, special recognition goes to the YMCA of Glendale, our main sponsor. The YMCA, let's hear it for the YMCA. The YMCA has long been a cornerstone of our community, promoting youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And we are incredibly grateful for their leadership and continued partnership. George Cycley, take a bow. We also extend our sincere thanks to Glendale Memorial Hospital, Dignity Health, the City of Glendale, USC Verdugo Hills Hospital, Adventist Health Glendale, Glendale Elks Lodge, number 1289, whose wonderful lodge we are using, the Filipino-American Business Association of Glendale, the YWCA of Glendale and Pasadena, and the YMCA of the Foothills. Let's join in giving all of our sponsors a nice round of applause. So as we honor Dr. King today, we are reminded that his legacy is not only about remembering the past, it's also about shaping the future. He believed deeply in the power of community, in the idea that real change happens when ordinary people come together with courage, empathy, and a shared sense of responsibility. Gatherings like this truly matter because they reaffirm who we are and what we stand for. They remind us that progress is built through partnership, through listening, and through a collective commitment to dignity and fairness for all. In Glendale, we are fortunate to be a city that values collaboration and celebrates the strength found in our wide diversity. That spirit is on full display here this morning. So thank you all for being part of this important gathering and for helping keep Dr. King's vision alive in our community. At this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Stephanie Rice with Glendale First United Methodist Church for today's invocation. Dr. Rice.
Good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Stephanie Rice. I currently serve as the Associate Pastor at Glendale First United Methodist Church, and I'm on our board for the Glendale Religious Leaders Association, and it is truly an honor to be with you all here this morning. So as I share this invocation with you all, I'm going to invite you to be in an attitude of prayer and contemplation in whatever form is most familiar to you. Spirit of love and justice, this morning as we gather together to celebrate and honor the life and work of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, may we be reminded of some of the principles and tenets that grounded Dr. King and those who worked with him to fight for dignity and equal rights for all people. May we honor and celebrate Dr. King's legacy by being people of love, compassion, justice, and community. People who back up our words with action, who are actively seeking to make our community a place where all people are able to live into the fullness of all that we are capable of. We know that we live in difficult times and in divisive times, and so may we be drawn together through our shared commitment to love in action. May we listen to one another with openness and compassion. May we be spurred on to work together in these difficult times to continue to work toward Dr. King's vision of beloved community. A community bound together not by similarities or a lack of conflict, but a community bound together by love. Help us to remember that love is not a platitude or merely a feeling. For those who are oppressed, love offers liberation. For those who are privileged, love invites vulnerability. Love is deeper and wider than mere words, but love is action. Draw us toward that love, toward action, toward one another, so that we can have what we need to be about this work, to truly honor and celebrate the legacy and work of Dr. King, not just with words, but in order to work for justice. When we are tired, we ask for rest and restoration. When we are afraid, we ask for courage. When we are inspired, we ask for momentum and for wisdom. When we are lonely, we ask for community and for care. And so in our time this morning and in the days and weeks and months and even years to come, may we know love. May we be love. May we live out that love in our words and in our actions. We give thanks for all of those who are present here this morning, for all of those who have worked to bring us together, for all those who worked to bring us this food and this time. And we ask that you would continue to draw us together today. In this spirit of love and thanksgiving, we pray. Amen.
Now it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Shannon Bradley, who holds an MBA and is the Chief Health Equity, Inclusion, and Community Officer with Keck Medicine of USC. Shannon Bradley serves as the inaugural Chief Health Equity, Inclusion, and Community Officer with Keck Medicine of USC. She plays a pivotal role in strategic planning and leadership, promoting inclusion, health equity, and workforce development across the health system while building community and external partnerships. In her role, Ms. Bradley chairs the Health Equity, Inclusion, and Community Executive Steering Committee, which works across departments to drive positive organizational change. And we're lucky to have her join us this morning.
All right. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
No?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Thank you. I'm extremely grateful to be here today to serve as the keynote speaker on behalf of Keck Medicine of USC and Verdugo Hills Hospital. Incredibly grateful to be a part of the Glendale community and to be able to serve the community through healthcare services. We're going to talk a little bit about community today, but I would be remiss if I did not recognize my community here today. And so just wanted to give a shout out to our Verdugo Hills Hospital team, Marie, Cecilia, Mary, Christy, my direct team that I get to work with every single day, Julia, Lindsay, Stacy, and Lucine, and my core that lifts me up and supports me on a day-to-day basis, my mother-in-law, Sandra, and my husband, Dwight. So, On today, January 15th, 2026, we celebrate what would have been the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's 97th birthday. For context, in October, I celebrated my great aunt's 100th birthday. We often speak of Dr. King as someone from long ago, but the truth is, the Civil Rights Act passed within our parents' and grandparents' lifetimes. The struggle he led is closer than we think, and its echoes are still loud. Dr. King led the civil rights movement from 1955 until his untimely assassination on April 4th, 1968 at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. His life was cut short, but his legacy, his moral clarity, his courage, his insistence on our shared humanity continues to challenge and call us forward today. When I sat down to reflect on Dr. King's legacy, on what he fought for and what he achieved, I kept coming back to the parallels between the socio-political and economic environment of today, or in the 1950s and 60s, and really thought about, again, how did we get here, and how are we going to be able to navigate moving forward? We're once again living in a time marked by uncertainty and division, by fear and fatigue, by profound inequities that feel both familiar and overwhelming. And that led me to a simple but urgent question. What was it that made Dr. King effective in such a moment? How, in times of conflict, violence, resistance, and apathy, did he bring people together? And what does that teach us about how we might come together now as a beloved community in service of humankind? As I reflected, a few things stood out, and I offer them not as history lessons, but really as guideposts for where we go from here. What it ultimately came down to for me is this. Dr. King moved with intention, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to collective impact. It's easy to state our values, easy to speak about our character, to demonstrate what matters to us when it's convenient, when there's nothing to lose, when the winds are behind us and people are cheering us on. That was not the environment that Dr. King was operating in. Dr. King had conviction in what he believed in, and I don't mean the kind that's wavering or convenient. I mean the kind that forces you to say what you mean and mean what you say, to show and prove. The kind that forces you to think about the losses that are guaranteed. And you may not necessarily know the depths of the loss, but you know you're willing to risk it all for the outcome. He possessed moral clarity in moments of profound danger. He believed, without ambiguity, that racial segregation, poverty, war, and injustice were morally wrong. And he said so plainly. Even when doing so put his life, his family, his freedom, his health, and his future at risk. And yet, because his conviction was clear and consistent, others followed and became allies. They knew the fight wasn't narrow or exclusionary, and that it wasn't just about justice for some, but justice for all. His vision was expansive, inclusive, and rooted in the belief that if some of us are not free, all of us are not free. Dr. King was also deeply empathetic and profoundly emotionally intelligent. He spoke to people's pain without dehumanizing them and without turning his opponents into caricatures or denying their humanity. Even while condemning unjust systems, he appealed to our shared humanity. That empathy sustained the movement through fear, exhaustion, grief, and loss. He often spoke of the beloved community, a society grounded not in domination or division, but in love, dignity, and mutual care. A community where justice is not abstract but lived, where love is not passive but active. He had an extraordinary ability to connect big ideals, justice, equality, love, righteousness, to everyday life, to the quiet hopes we carry in our hearts, to who we want to be at our best. And he did this while still holding a mirror up to the nation, calling out our failures, our contradictions, and our unfinished work. challenging us to do more, to be more, to become who we claim to be. Dr. King also understood something essential about change. It does not happen alone. He relied on coalitions and collaboration. Churches, labor unions, students, government, community and civil rights organizations, and allies across lines of race, class, ethnicity, gender, and background. He understood the lasting change requires broad support and a shared purpose, where everyone sees their role, their value, and their impact. He emphasized the we over the me. He reminded us that we are all connected, that joy and hardship are meant to be held together, not privately. He stated plainly, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And by framing civil rights as a part of a broader struggle for human dignity, linking racial justice to economic justice and peace, he gave the movement depth and moral weight. He addressed fractures before they could become fatal, and he kept the focus on our shared fate together. To be in community, as Dr. King showed us, is to recognize that your life is deeply intertwined with other people's, and we all must act like it. Many of us are familiar with Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, delivered in 1963 before the Civil Rights Act passed. But in 1967, just 1 year before his death and after the Civil Rights Act became law, he wrote a book with a far more sobering title, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? That question still echoes today. In that book, Dr. King wrote, and I want to share an excerpt, in the days ahead, we must not consider it unpatriotic to raise certain basic questions about our national character. Why are there millions of poor people in a nation overflowing with such unbelievable affluence? There is a need for a radical restructuring of the architecture of American society. For the evils of racism, poverty, and militarism to die, a new set of values must be born. Our economy must become more person-centered than property and profit-centered. Our government must depend more on its moral power than on its military power. Let us be those creative dissenters who will call our beloved nation to a higher destiny, to a new plateau of compassion, to a more noble expression of humaneness. But Dr. King didn't offer false optimism. He told the truth, but he also refused despair. And that is our call today. We are all called. We are all connected. And for the sake of our beloved community, we must all move with intention, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to collective impact. Not someday, not when it's easier, not when the cost is lower, but now. That means asking ourselves hard questions, not just about policy or politics, but our own choices in our everyday life. How do we show up? Who do we listen to? Who do we protect? Who are we willing to stand beside when it's uncomfortable or unpopular? Who do we advocate for? Who do we consider community? Dr. King reminded us that, and this is a quote, power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. And I'm going to repeat it because I think it's powerful. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. So let us choose community over chaos. Let us choose courage over convenience. Let us be people who understand that our liberation, our dignity, our future, and our humanity are bound together. Let us leave here committed, not just to remembering Dr. King, but to living the values he stood for, so that the beloved community is not just a vision we admire, but a reality we build together. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, for your inspiring keynote speech. Please accept this gift as a small token of our appreciation for being our keynote speaker today.
In addition to our generous sponsors, this event was made possible by a steering committee of community members, including George Sakali with YMCA of Glendale, Cassie McCarty with Dignity Health Glendale Memorial Hospital, Marie Philippian with USC Verdugo Hills Hospital, Edith Fuentes with the Filipino-American Business Association of Glendale, and Jomi Liu with the YWCA of Glendale in Pasadena. Please join us in a round of applause to thank them for their contributions.
At this time, I'd like to welcome George Sakali and Cassie McCarty up at the podium for closing remarks.
I want to get to Shannon in a moment because that was incredibly powerful. But I just want to thank Dominica and Annette for steering this event today. You both have done fabulously, so I hope you know that. Shannon, that was incredible. I think when we come to an event honoring and celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King, we should be challenged. We should feel challenged, not just feel good. And I really appreciate your words and your call to entering a new plateau of compassion. The thing I want to say that really stood out to me was something that we talk about at our hospital about being better together. And when I look in this room and I see our police, our fire, our business leaders, hospital leaders, I mean, what a gift, right? 3 hospitals in one city. I see our nonprofit leaders, our elected officials and their team. We have what it takes in this room to get to that better level of compassion and humanity for the city of Glendale, but also to be a beacon of that elevated compassion and love to other cities around us. Shannon, thank you very, very much. And I look forward to continuing this journey and this work together with all of you in this room.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy, for being a great partner. Thank you. Okay, I'm the one that's gonna finish this meeting, and I know everybody's worried because I usually stay about 30 minutes. It'll be only 5 minutes. I wanna first thank Shannon for what she did, for the beautiful things she said. You took most of what I was gonna say. Thank you, though. I will leave you with 2 things. I'm a student of political science. I went to University of North Carolina, and one of the courses I took was political ideology and reasons why people form certain ideology. And this is for us as decision makers in the community. There are 2 reasons why people start forming. One of them is forming their political views and dealing with others. One is based on instinct and emotional, and we all have prejudice. All of us grew up in certain conditions where we heard we prefer certain people over others, etc. However, that needs to be tabled. And then the second one was the logical driven ideology. And when I did my study for 10 to 20 years, they were parallel. They never met as for decision makers. We need to, this is not for social justice people. This is for decision makers. How can you expand the level of acceptance to be as inclusive as possible? And that requires cognitive and focused decision on all of our behalf. This is very important. And now I want to just quote Mayor Najarian when we had the first meeting, when we said, Dr. King, we celebrate what he did because we need more than ever time to dialogue, time to sit together, and time to say, hey, I have these concerns, and not being afraid of being punished, no matter where you come from. I would leave you with one thing, call of action. The Foothills YMCA, I asked Vince to speak on his behalf, and us and other entities in town, we have a call for action. We need to be the common denominator for people to come in and open dialogues within our walls and carry conversations how we prosper the community. Because I mentioned to you the one based on instinct, there is no prosperity in the community. This will not lead to anything. Controlling and managing through the logic is what leads to prosperity, and we all need to celebrate each other. Thank you.